And it's been an honor working with you as governor, and years ago in the state legislature. There's no greater advocate, not only Bill personally, but the NFIB here in Wisconsin is the chief advocate for small business in the state. So Bill, thank you to you for your leadership and your many years of working together with us. And thanks for all that you represent. Because for me to earn the endorsement of the men and women who run small businesses all across the state really is an honor. Mike and Pete, thank you so much for letting us be here. To all your team here at Ashwaubenon Glass Company, we appreciate it. 20 years, hard to believe, 2 decades in the making. But as we saw, just walking from one building to the next, typical of the story of great small businesses in this state. Starting out with an idea and just growing a little bit more and growing a little bit more and putting the work and the time and the effort. Having employees are kind of like family, both literally and figuratively along the way, being a part of that. So thank you for hosting us. And you know, it's an exciting time in the state, but it's one worth, I think, sometimes worth reminding ourselves about where we've come from. Because you see, 8 years ago, not just running for governor, but 8 years ago as a father, I know as a parent, Tonette and I both at that time were worried that our kids, who are now 23 and 24, Matt and Alex, we were worried we weren't going to have a job, let alone a career when they graduate. It was that bad back then. Unemployment 8 years ago was at 9.3%. And in the term before I took office, in Jim Doyle's last term in office, we lost more than 133,000 jobs in this state. And worst of all, as parents, we were seeing far too many of our graduates leave the state to pursue careers somewhere else. I'm proud to tell you now, 8 years later, we just saw last week, for the 8th month in a row, we have record low unemployment here in the state of Wisconsin. More people working than ever before in our state's history. We're pretty excited about that. We're pumped up about that. And I got to tell you, I just looked on Friday before we started heading into the campaigning over the weekend, and we had over 100,000 job openings on our state website. That's just one site. Had over 100,000 job openings. That means there are more career opportunities, particularly for our young people in the state, than there are technically unemployed people to fill. That's why for our small businesses and others, and one of our big things going forward now is we've gotten so good at helping the people of the state, because we don't create jobs, you guys create jobs. We just help the people of the state create more jobs and more opportunities. We have more jobs, more people working than ever before, and we have higher wages. Our wage growth is one of the highest in the nation, particularly in the trades that we see here in the state of Wisconsin. So we continue to grow, but we want to continue to grow the workforce. It's part of the reason why I was proud in my last budget to invest more actual dollars in the schools than ever before in the history of the state. In fact, we were so good at that, Tony Evers, my opponent, actually called it a pro-kid budget. I'm happy to copy his words and give him credit for it. He said my budget was a pro-kid budget on February 6, 2017. He said it. He said to the press back then, and his priorities matched our priorities. And then we didn't hear much of him anywhere after that. That's an important distinction because, see, Tony talks, we actually provide leadership. We provide leadership to get the job done, and whether it's in education, worker training, or anything else. We were told at the time in the Capitol that getting through a budget with that kind of investment in education would be next to difficult, if not impossible. And we didn't listen to that. We went out to 50 different school districts, 50 different school districts across the state. We worked with school board members and local officials involved in schools. But more importantly, we went to small businesses. We went to the people I've heard repeatedly from who said, we got jobs, we just don't have enough people to fill those jobs. And so we made an investment in our education system, not just for student success, but to help build the workforce we need to win the 21st century. We put an extra $200 in every year for every student in every school in every part of the state of Wisconsin. But on top of that, we use those investments to invest in nearly tripling the amount of youth apprenticeships we have in our schools. We were talking before about being just down the way when you guys joined us, when we signed a bill to make it easier for our youth apprentices to go on site, to actually be a part of the program at the end of their time in high school. Well, I want to start those youth apprenticeships all the way in the 7th and 8th grade. I want, after we fund now academic and career plans in 6th grade for every school district in the state, I want to get those young people interested in 7th and 8th grade so they start to take on more of an interest, particularly in the trades and a whole bunch of other areas as well. And then we can even further expand our opportunities with technical education, with dual enrollment, with early college credit. We can work with places like Northeastern Wisconsin Technical College and our UW system and our private colleges and universities, understanding that every student should graduate. Our game plan is to have every student graduate and every graduate have a game plan for success in their career, whether it's through an apprenticeship, an associate degree, an undergraduate degree, or something beyond. We can do that here in the state of Wisconsin. There's a difference between talking and leading.